Eye Nensoko TV, Oboroso Bumugusi.
Margobengia mwanchumu rigeraria na gukwandira ndonsi asore Chinsa ni Ikomi chia bono marogoba siri tukiriga rie Jumaine tariki 11 mutinyo gatano gatatu mwaka wiga wechiri bubere 25 na monchenkoro kwa Clinton ndigi karanso kenkomanyi aya ene kiwe ase chinga kichiga ase enchera yobwenge. Karibu sana mwancho murigaria bona senchera yobwenge togochaka no roboti rokubwatia abanyanyimbo n'abobisa bobotukibe kyombegia DCI kurosegeta seni ky'abanyanyimbo gya keroka nigo bachakire obotuki rimo ryo kamaiga yomogaka bwe myaka yegatwa hoyo konyago koremere masenka emo yomoga kombati egotoka sensemo ya mochenwa hanyara ko bakagotoka gaitire na gusirio bogima bwae na boigo ase ogutu agana gutugutu sensemo ya mochenwa sub county ya Masaba North bunge ya Kitoto Masaba imeye county ya Nyamira yagosiro manyakaine asirieta James ni gobono korengana na bananchi akagire goitwa ase nyomba ya moyo kwego kya somo choyo na maga yae koirwa na kobe kwa sangao nigo ya matiae ya sabiri obotuki bokorekane irinde nyagosira anyoro bwana bwae
enachire iga asinge njuna igunga omwana ominto na kenyetwe na itetwe ase paerega na giankonire nga kibono tuacha na ende ngikegenderetega bono tukumitinga eserikali nero igentege tangani kabisa esabu chief oiketo kororo ne chief na county government oikecha ko ni for kesiek egerto manyinga nki omwana ya iteire na ende town ye ne bwate egento korokanga chairman ye town nero.
How will we minimize cases of insecurity when we accept ebindeka mne bibia korwa mwisho wake ko bia retro mochandeka mnoyo bichake gusiekwa iko togotanga obobekere gendo kiabere gosiga togotanga obobe nyuma obobo tararekana yakabere. We want justice to the late, that's James. We want justice to the late, that's James. And we want justice for the late, and that's James.
It's very wrong. It's very wrong.
Toska bose mwancho murigiria soroboti rondo murikito linet nyambanage ndote kubwatiria nigo ase chinga kichiga egikaro kagandote kone kiwa kia NDC gikiama kia siasa ya People's Renaissance Movement aiga somo chio Nairobi kiama kio nigo bono kia mochorre mojumbe wense mwibunge ya Sabauti mheshimiwa Caleb Amisi ko morayobo na bego chia kone kiambachi korenta monchorri ya soborai ase obochorio banane mwako gocha.
We are now being called upon as a generation to rise up with enthusiasm, charisma, courage, and patriotism to do what needs to be done today. And what needs to be done today is economic renaissance. The preamble of our constitution starts with the word, we the people. We the people of Kenya hereby launch the people's movement to deliver the country from economic liberation, economic renaissance, economic justice, and to form a government of the people, by the people, for the people.
Na sage ndato mwancho morigaria hege go kiaere nigo murabu kiama kege siasa gya DCP na bwigo yokabero mukonyo bumurabu ense rigati gashagwa abatukire nkwana yaego chia sense na bwigo ababwatani baya saro kandro komo chia serikali abono aso gutumika bobe chibesa na bwigo kwenekia uchumi yense teriko gendra senchirengia aso gutumika bobe chibesa ego kabesa.
We know that the Grand Coalition government borrowed an average of 200 billion shillings annually. The Jubilee government of Uhuru Kenyatta borrowed an average of 700 billion shillings annually. This regime of William Ruto borrows an average of 1.4 trillion annually with no corresponding development. Since August 2022, Kenya's debt growth has entered a dangerous pattern of continuous triple-digit or near triple-digit expansions. As we speak today, every citizen of Kenya and every child born as of this morning has a debt of Kenya shillings 221,000. This country has a debt of 13.02 trillion, up from Kenya shillings 8.6 trillion in August 2022 when William took over. Mr. William Ruto has borrowed in excess of 5 billion in excess of 5 trillion over the last 4 years. This regime on a borrowing spree borrows an average of 3.5 billion Kenya shillings daily and steals 3 billion shillings daily. Why borrow to steal? On average, this government steals from the people of Kenya 125 million shillings every hour. Calculated, this government is stealing every minute 2 million shillings from the people of Kenya. Dear Kenyans, the National Treasury has delayed disbursing the equitable share of revenue to counties. These cash flow delays have routinely stalled county operations, delayed staff salaries, and inflated pending bills to over 156 billion, despite legal mandates requiring timely monthly transfers. Misplaced priorities such as funding State House budget by 10 billion, building state lodges and airstrips has caused cash flow constraints.
Tuskabuse mwanjo muligereria baraibe kiama kia siasa kia UDA kurwase county ya Busia niko bono baesokire na kuria eira yogosire meruberio ya serikali eraroro na bogo kwane kyanko mokonya baro muraibwense kwane kyanko rigiare na konyora entunde ya kabera sobo choryo bonne bori bosio mwako gocha.
UDA kazi ni kazi, UDA kazi ni kazi, kazi ni kazi, tuta kazi ni kazi, tuta William Ruto tuta. Na sisi tumekubaliana ya kwamba tutarudi mashinani na tuhakikisha kwamba unaendelea kurecruit members wetu wa chama, na tutasensitize kuhakikisha kwamba kila mmoja amejua ya kwamba umuhimu ya kupigia William Samoei Ruto kura kwa mara ya pili, na pia tutasupport kama ofisi waniaji viti mbalimbali katika sehemu zao za wakilishi ambao wanataka kusimama kura, ili wahakikisha kwamba tumedeliver hizo positions na tumeshinda hizo viti.
Nasema kwamba we are preaching unity so that sisi tufanye kazi. Kama wewe ni MP, kama wewe ni ambassador, kama wewe ni cabinet secretary, kama wewe ni PS, we are saying we want you on ground. Tunataka tukiongea lugha ya chama cha UDA tunaongea kama nyumba.
Tumekubaliana ya kwamba kuanzia leo tunaenda mashinani kwenda kutafuta kura, kuhakikisha kwamba rais wetu mpendwa Daktari William Samoei Ruto anapata muhula wa pili kama president wa Kenya. Tumesema hivyo kufuatana na maendeleo mengi ambayo tumeyaona ambayo ameyafanya katika Busia County.
Tuskabusio habara ikurwase county ya Migori niko baganda kuru kubole uchase serikali kubeka emeroberio yokobaka na hasenchira ya bwango habare mibeke meriki mesi naboigo habakori emirimo habakabere hase company yesukari ya Sony Sugar konye hetaranya rakoba gekoni wa kurwase omonto bene niko bona igati habare yabo bakire mbuya mona serikali nena sokobeka emeroberio yogwaka na habare mibaganda tekubwaterana ne company iyo naboigo kobasa babaneke bari banyata koba bagosire emirimo yabo kira maonchori kwenye kiwase company hiyo konyora bale ngere yao.
Sony as a company was taken over by a private sector player, and I want to appreciate what the private sector is doing about Sony insofar as paying farmers for the cane they deliver as they deliver it. I want to confirm that they do so within a week. I also want to confirm that the rates are good. So now should look into two things. One, paying the employees that ought to have been paid when they were their contracts, or when their contracts were terminated because of the redundancy. they should also pay the debts that they inherited from the defunct Sony. I'm told there is a new Sony, so the defunct one had arrears of payment for farmers and also had monies that were owed to other creditors. We need these payments to be done, and we need it as soon as yesterday.
Sugar was leased so that we can be able to promote efficiency and effectiveness in terms of sugarcane production, payment to farmers, proper increment in production. That was a very brilliant idea. But of course, with leasing in the private sector comes a lot of challenges, as you might know. For instance, there were debts that were there before the company that leased the plant or the milling facility came about, and they were variant. Therefore, of course, the biggest one is the one for farmers, where a number of farmers had been paid before, and in the lease agreement they were supposed to be taken care of by the government that was running the institution at that time. So we are trying to force to follow so that those farmers are paid. There are statements that are put in the floor of the House, in the Senate, and there are questions that I've directed to the Minister for Agriculture, who is supposed to appear before Senate anytime soon. The issue of people who are used to work for Sony before the leasee came in to be able to be absorbed, because if they are chased away or their contracts are terminated, it will bring a problem in terms of their future, where they can be able to place to work somewhere else. So we're also working toward
Toskabasio manchu morigeria emiro perioni gagandate kobekwa yogosira amaonchoreria yerire ekero ebyombe ao bigandate gochamo na gokwandra enganeyo ekyabwangwega ne kyombe gya Kenya Development Corporation KDC abara digo chigo chakya emiro perio yo ogosangereria chibesa ikirache gokonya emiro perio yokobeka amaonchoreria yerire nabigo mobisomane ase ewizara yebinto bitwetana First Engineer Festus Ngeno nigatebire serikali yense ya Kenya nigo boigo imurikerete engane yo gonchoreria kwerera satebire chinga kechiga nigo Chinsa chibwente gochamo na kobeka umukia bugukine mirobirio irache gokonya ugonchoreria kwerira.
What this launch means to the Kenyan economy and entrepreneurs is that one, entrepreneurs now have accessible to more concessional financing, a wide spectrum of more products. I think the feedback we got as KDC was our products were limited. We now have enhanced those products. We have longer term working capital financing. We have more concessional financing. We have even receivable financing for those who are, supplying to, say, hospitals. We are looking at the health sector. Equally, on the green space, now we are going to support all sectors. So look at it as with us looking at the climate change.
On the onset, the first is to congratulate Kenya Development Corporation for their launch of their first sustainability and green financing strategy. So we are truly appreciative. It's a state corporation in the government. Private sector are the one that usually leads in these processes. But now when you get government-owned enterprises doing this, we are truly appreciative. And two things to mention is that we encourage private sector, public corporations, state corporations to do this because it helps us as government, especially our Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, to develop two reports. One, the Kenya State of Environment report, which is usually developed through the state corporation, National Environment Authority, that is NEMA, and also the State of Climate report that is usually developed by the Kenya Meteorological Department, and therefore very important in that respect. So two things that are important for us is getting the sustainability strategy is no longer an environmental agenda. We are looking at it from the economic perspective. If you look at the things that KDC, the new products that they are launching today, they are really towards the development, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda that the president has exposed, and therefore we encourage that as state corporations are doing this, we look from that point of view.
Morigeria nara yua senchira iyo bwenge na ritogendrete kubwaterire kurwa se chinsemo au hayuagendreta se chinga kechiga kurende gekuraga ensa eyamo na isato chubut kubwarero no chikomera na nere Daniel Omwaga akomanye asenchira iyo bwikerno chidaika cha utokeri Ikomi na isato igoro ye Chinsa Ikomi chenkoro kwa Clinton Ndigi gendra gutwara Morigeria bya wemero biriye gendrete asembeo yensoka TV.